So as an iPhone user, I've been working with this Samsung S24 for the past 4 months or so, and I think I have a good perspective on this phone, and that's what this video is all about. I want to talk about the specs, I want to talk about the camera, about the design of this phone, because the S24 looks a bit different than, let's say, the S24 Ultra, and how responsive this phone is, because to be honest, as an iPhone user, this phone surprised me in a good way. So let's go ahead and get started. So right out of the bit, what's noticeable is that this phone has a 6.2-inch full HD AMOLED display. And I should say, in peak brightness, whenever it's bright outside, most phones seem to lose that display quality. This phone, though, doesn't have that problem. You will see some glare on your screen, that's inevitable. But it seems like Samsung, they did a great job creating the display of this phone because it's kind of sleek how it looks like. Right now I'm sitting in my room and it's not very bright in here, but if we look into the brightness, as you see there, it's set at what, like not even 40%. And if we just crank that brightness all the way up, and as you see right there, it looks gorgeous. Unfortunately, on camera, it's not quite visible how good looking this display is, but I can guarantee you it's a good looking display. The colors are popping off, and Samsung did step up their game with creating the display of this phone. And the second thing, and you might have noticed that, is that the Face ID doesn't detect my face from this distance. I just have to bring it way closer to make it unlock, and that's something I don't experience with my iPhone, for example. So if I bring my iPhone right here, as you see there, it kind of, as you see right there, I'm holding my iPhone and the Samsung from the same distance, and the Face ID seems to be working on the iPhone very well, but on the Samsung it doesn't get my face. I have to bring it very close to make it lock. But this phone does have an advantage over the iPhone because you will get Touch ID and Face ID that you can set up. Just lock this thing. That works very smoothly actually. That's definitely something iPhone or Apple should look at to implement in their iPhone. I'm not sure why they don't do so, but this is kind of snappy. Okay, so right there it didn't recognize my finger, but like 99% of the time it did. It recognized my finger like immediately. And let's try it with my left thumb, the one I haven't registered. And as you see there, finger doesn't match. So that's a big plus from Samsung. They definitely have stepped up their game. So you do get Face ID and Touch ID at the same time. Let's try if I can. Okay, so both biometric will work at the same time. If you have glasses on, or maybe you have a helmet or something else, you can just unlock your phone with just finger ID. So that's definitely something I'm missing in iPhone, and this is the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it doesn't have that. So yeah. A second thing that I did liked about the phone is basically how the camera worked, and the zoom capabilities of the Samsung are just something else. I stood on a roof of a building and I could zoom in all the way to the crowd, and granted, you will not have that smoothness and your camera might get shaky, but even then Samsung have their software on check that, so whenever you zoom all the way in like 30x or 50x, you will have that blurry image and it will be very shaky, but you will get a help tool on the right side of your display, like a zoom box that centers your subject. And the good part is that this phone like snaps that subject and you don't worry about losing it out of motion. So it just picks up any subject that thinks it's like something that you want to focus on, and that's the thing that gets snaps on for a while. If you just move your hand like drastically, you will lose that subject obviously, but it's all about that snapping feature that did impress me very well. So yeah, it can shoot all the way up to 8K. It has a telephoto lens and a wide lens and an ultra wide lens. The wide lens has 50 megapixel. That's a bit lower than the S24 Ultra, for example. That one has a whopping 200 megapixel. But do you need all of that megapixels? Absolutely not. You will have a great camera on this phone, which is basically an entry phone. Speaking about where this phone stands in the the S24 models, this one's all the way like on the left side of the spectrum. It's like for $600 you will have an entry level Samsung S24, and you basically get all the good stuff with it. It has an 8 GB of RAM. It comes with 120 GB of storage. But what distinguishes this phone from like the iPhone 15, for example, as of now, is the fact that it has AI. And it's quite incredible what this AI can do. For example, if I go and take a picture of this SD card, and I'm not sure if it's visible on cam, so let's go ahead and snap a picture out of it. So as you see right there, so we have that picture, but what you can do is go to this pen tool, and now you can just use this AI capability. So what you can do is you can draw around the image, touch and hold that selection and just move it to the left. And if I generate, so take some time, and as of now, this is not a great thing because we have a white surface. So there are not much of details for Samsung to have calculate. It just had to make a white surface, and the only thing that it needed to do is just move this SD card to the left. But still, we do see, like, if I turn the brightness a bit up. Okay, so we've lost that one. Let's do it again. So go and generate and make this selection. And if you touch and hold it, let's move it to the left now and generate. Let's hope this time it will do a better job. So add the missing pieces, like what it thinks that will be right there in this shot. And once again, it just seems to be copying that subject and give it like something that's resembling the actual thing that you have moved. And what we wanted to do is just make the surface white. So let's view the original. And no, that's not something that we want. Let's add something extra to the shot. Let's add this iPhone, for example. And if we make another shot, let's hope now the Samsung is more capable of like generating something that should be on the surface instead of that iPhone. So let's go ahead to that pen tool. Let's generate something, or let's AI do its work. You can basically also tap on it and it will recognize the subject that you want to move. If we move it up top right there and we click generate, okay, it just adds a plant right there. So obviously it's not at its best, this AI thing. Uh, it's still learning a lot. I think we're now at the beginning era of AI, and I mean, if you look like other AI generating software, something as Midjourney, it creates some incredible things. But I do not expect this phone to do something similar to Midjourney or Photoshop or something like that. As of now, AI doesn't give you something, it does give you something realistic, but most of the time there is something off by it. You can't tell if you've seen a lot of AI images. After a while, your eyes are trained to tell the difference between a real image and an AI image, even though they make it very hard last time. But yeah, but this phone doesn't have the capability to give you something great out of it. As you see here, it gives us a plant instead of that iPhone. And the only thing we wanted to do is just make the surface white. So yeah, that's something Samsung definitely needs to work on for in the future. Let's discard this thing. What you also can do is add stickers, and basically that's like adding this arrow to the shot, make it bigger or smaller, and that's not something breakthrough. Adding arrows was always possible. Like with the iPhone and all of other phones, you can create your own stickers. You can add an emoji, or you can add some cool looking text like this. So you definitely can, right out of your phone, you can add something cool looking to your shot. But when it comes to AI, and if you want to like fix something in post, you definitely need to work with Photoshop still, or some other software that's like focused on altering your image and having it like pop more. So yeah, AI is not that great, but definitely the zoom capabilities of this iPhone and the image is like something else. Nowadays, you don't even need to have like a system camera or a DSLR camera. Most phones like the Samsung can shoot very good images right out of the phone. Yeah, furthermore, it's a very good phone. The design is very sleek. I do like this curvature right here. I don't like the S24 Ultra, the design of the S24 Ultra, but that's my own preference because it has like straight lines, and there is not much of a curvature to it. But this phone does have that, and I do like. But this phone does have that, and I do like the design of this phone very much. Obviously, the normal stuff. It has a USB-C port. I I bet, or I guess Samsung introduced the USB-C port like 10 years ago. Unlike the iPhone, they introduced the USB-C port like with the iPhone 15 models. And overall, I really enjoyed like having this phone with me for the past 4 months. And I will make a lot more content in the future just to give you some updates. Anything that just occurred to me that I haven't discussed in this video. And that's basically it. So I hope you've liked this video as always. As always, thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.